Hi, I'm Bob. I've been blind since birth, and I'm into scary poems. It's October the 6th as you're watching this, and you're also watching part 6 of my tribute to terror. Blah! And we're talking about scary poems, scary stories, scary movies, things that have put a good old fun scare into all of us over the years, maybe still do. Today we're talking about a guy named Jack Prelutsky. You spell his last name Prelutsky, in case you want to look him up. For those of you born in the late 90s, maybe the 2000s, Jack wrote a lot of poems for kids back in the day, the 80s and the 90s. And I first stumbled across Jack's work when I was in fourth grade. It was early October of 1993. And my friend Alan and I were walking out of the school library. And Alan had checked out a book of scary poems by Jack. And it was either Poems to Trouble Your Sleep or Headless Horseman Rides Again. There were 12 poems in each book. And later on in Miss Rogers' fourth grade class, around some kind of free time or another, Alan narrated The Boogeyman to me. And Alan, if you ever watch this thing, ever, man, I gotta say, you were one heck of a narrator. You put a good scare into me, and you were also one heck of a salesman, because I was trying to find an audio cassette version of this thing for about a year, for the better part of a year. Fast forward a year, and it was October of 1994. My grandma and my aunt had come down for a surprise weekend visit. I think it was like the first or second weekend of October. And they brought with them a copy of, well, both of Jack's books compiled onto one cassette. I didn't even let them know that I was looking for this thing. They know that I'm big into October, and they just nabbed it, and it was something totally unexpected. Well, the visit and the poems. That was also the weekend I nabbed my Lord Zed action figure from Target, by the way. Anyway, I slapped the cassette into the cassette player. Shows how old I am, and it was this big bestiary, or do you pronounce it bestiary? Pretty much, you had poems about, well, the boogeyman, the vampire, the werewolf, the mummy, the zombie, the ghoul, the invisible beast, the kraken, the specter on the moor, the dance of the 13 skeletons, the darkling elves, quite a few other beasts. So, man, it was fun to listen to, because Jack narrated his own poems, and he did one heck of a job too. It's always fun when an author decides to read a chapter, or heck, even the whole book that they've written, because they put a lot of heart into it. You can tell when they're proud of something that they've written. And Jack was one heck of a narrator. If you're looking for the poems on audio these days, you're not going to be able to find them unless you own a cassette player and you feel like tracking down a copy on eBay or maybe Amazon. They haven't released these poems on audible.com. If you type in Prelutsky's name on YouTube, his last name is spelled Prelutsky. Once again, you're going to be able to find a few poems ripped directly from that audio cassette with Jack narrating them, in case you're interested and wanting to listen to a few poems this October, as I'm going to. I don't know if all of them have been uploaded by fans. I know a few of them have. I don't think all of them have. I'm going to try to do some research on that, see what I can find. I would post links to those other videos, but I don't know if I'd be copyright claimed or whatever. But I if you guys want to watch them yourselves, you more than likely you're going to be able to find them on YouTube. If you have kids who like scary poems, spooky poems, they're not that spooky, honestly. They're written for kids. You can probably find the books used on Amazon and on eBay. I don't think they're in circulation anymore. I don't know if there are any new copies, but used books are just as good. You can probably find them in your public library. You're going to have to check out two different books, though, because I don't know if they ever did a book in which they compiled all 24 of his spooky poems. So the books are Nightmares, Poems to Trouble Your Sleep. That's the first one. The second one is The Headless Horseman Rides Again, or Rides Tonight. I need to look that up for sure. I'll put it in the description. And that is going to do for our look back on Jack Prelutsky and his work. One more thing, though. I think there were sound effects and music added to the beginning of each poem. So if you listen to them on audio, you got an audio representation of what each monster would sound like. And I'm really curious to know if there were illustrations at the beginning of each poem in the print editions. That would be really cool to know what some of those creatures look like, especially the boogeyman. I've always been fascinated with that character in lore. So yeah, that's a wrap. No mummy puns intended on Jack Prelutsky. Next time we're going to be talking about Goosebumps, because I did own a few of those books and I had some amazing friends who narrated one or two of those books to me in class. So we're going to be talking about, Goosebumps next time. So I will hear you guys in the next video.